Hello branch managers, it's Todd Screaming here. I'm giving you an overview of the main things I want you to get out of chapter 2, which is the people. And I want you to think of three things. When you look at this whole section, it really boils down to three things. Number one is hiring and training. Number two is your leadership within the branch. And number three is the culture of the branch. So when you look at, there's a lot of chapters in here, but when you really boil it down, branch managers, when you look at branch managers, first of all, the starting point is this. If we're going to be a branch manager and, rather than do 15 loans a month in the branch, why don't we do 50 or 75 or 200, okay? So that's the starting point is, hey, let's see what we can really do. And what would it take to truly be excellent? So these three subjects, so hiring and training. Hiring is an art and a science. Training has to do with you spending 90 days with someone and getting them fully trained. That means they got to shadow people, they got to go through the classes, they got to work on files. So when you talk about hiring, people struggle with how to really spot talent. I was doing an interview with a top producer the other day, and he wanted to come on board, and then I happened to call some references because I knew some people that worked for him before and worked in the same market. All three of them said the same thing. Absolutely not. He's an office terrorist. Do not hire this guy. Now, the truth is, does a ton of business. I mean, tons, would have been one of our top producers. But it's not worth it. It's not worth people hiring people that have emotional dysfunctions. They're angry people. They're office terrorists. It's just not worth. I don't care how good they think they are or how good the resume is. It's not worth it because it ruins everything. Okay. And I'm at the point in my life, and I want this to be throughout Summit. I only care to work with the people that I'm thrilled to work with. That I call it yoked, right? Like an oxen. That we're really truly yoked. I don't want to work with the crazies anymore. And I don't want to work with the low producers. Someone who's been in the business 12 years and still does 2 loans a month. I mean, gosh, there's a problem. They probably aren't good at our industry. I'm sure they're nice people, but it doesn't fit for Summit. So there's the hiring. I want you to really dive into that. It's a big process, and it's something that we all got to spend a lot of time on. And then training. Training just takes time. And what people want to do is give people no training, show them a checklist, and then walk away. And that is just the wrong thing to do, guys. So really delve into the training. Training is the time where you teach them exactly what to do. Number one thing, this is a new study that just came out. Number one thing that employees want is they want to know what to do. And so that's all of training. The second part is leadership. So here's what I'll tell you. Again, 15 years of coaching top producing branch managers. So in the core, we have 124 people out of 350 clients that will make $1 million this year. Okay. So first of all, that's a testament to coaching because 7 years ago, that same number was 3. Now it's 124. So that's an amazing statistic, right? So we coach the best of the best. But one of the things that I'll tell you about that is that 88% of people that will make $1 million in the core this year, in 2015, are producing branch managers. So yes, it's a great job, but we've got to know how to do it. There's tons of opportunity, but we got to know how to do it. Here's what I'll tell you about leadership. You can't spend enough time reading John Maxwell books and getting coached and going to rapport leadership and all that stuff, because here's what I'll tell you for sure, is that I can coach a branch manager who works for the crappiest mortgage banker in America. I mean, the absolute worst company I've ever coached. But if that branch manager is great, that office kills it. That office absolutely kills it. And so it's just so obvious to me. Now, what works best is work for a great company and have great leadership skills, right? But this doesn't work. The company can't be great and the branch manager be mediocre in leadership. Doesn't work. Because who turns the screws at the local, at that branch level is the branch manager. Literally 100% of influence happens right at that branch. And that's why your leadership is so important. So when I see people have, like, they're ungrateful, or they never compliment anybody, or they don't have good office culture, or they don't hire good people, or, all these things, or they have anger issues in the office, or they're grumpy half the time, all of these leadership issues just got to go away. Okay? And you got to think of yourself like, hey, someone's paying me $1 million a year to run a business, and I'm going to do the absolute best job I can. Okay? So leadership is something I really want you to get out of the people section. And then the third thing is culture. Culture is like the personality of the company. It's when you walk into a business, it's what it looks like, it's what it feels like. Is there a positive culture? Is there an uplifting culture? Or is it like everyone's angry and frustrated? Okay? All of that, again, depends on the people that you hire and the leadership that they work under. So what I can tell you for sure is that if you got a bad culture, then it's not going to work out very well. You're never going to, you might make money, but you're never going to close 100 loans a month. You're never going to be a leader. You're never going to be top 10 in the organization. You're not going to achieve any of those things because the culture is poor. We built it wrong. Sometimes you got to tear down things and tear them back, build them back up. So there's a lot to all this. So 3 things: hiring and training, your leadership, and culture. Those 3 things, guys, is what I want you to get out of this people section. And if you really focus on those 3 subjects, you're going to do amazing things. Thanks, guys.